Mafia boss refused the waitress to come to work until her bodyguard changed everything. The most feared mafia boss in New York had one rule about the little waitress who kept appearing in his private club: she was never to work his table again. But when she ignored his order and showed up anyway, the bodyguard assigned to protect her uncovered a secret that made the city's most dangerous man realize the woman he had been pushing away was the only person he could no longer live without. The rain had been falling over Manhattan since sunset, turning the streets outside the Belladonna Club into ribbons of reflected gold and black. Inside, everything was polished marble, crystal chandeliers, dark wood, and expensive silence. This was not the kind of restaurant where ordinary people wandered in looking for dinner. The Belladonna belonged to people who didn't ask prices. Politicians came through the private entrance. Billionaires drank whiskey in rooms without windows. And men who officially did not exist conducted business beneath the soft music of a jazz trio. At the center of it all sat Dante Moretti, 38 years old. Black suit, black shirt, a silver watch worth more than most people's houses, and a reputation that made grown men lower their voices whenever his name was mentioned. Dante controlled half the illegal shipping routes along the eastern seaboard. He had survived 3 assassination attempts, 2 betrayals, and a war with the DeLuca family that had left bodies floating beneath the Brooklyn Bridge. He was not a man people approached. He was a man people waited for. But tonight, Dante wasn't looking at the men surrounding his table. He was looking toward the bar. At the waitress. Lena Hart was carrying 6 champagne glasses on a silver tray, moving carefully between tables while trying to ignore the pain in her left ankle. She was 27, 5'4", soft around the hips, curvy in a way that made the designer dresses hanging in the club look almost comically fragile compared with her simple black uniform. Her brown hair was pulled into a loose bun, with several strands escaping around her tired face. She had worked 2 shifts already. She had slept 4 hours the night before. And she was one overdue rent payment away from losing her apartment. Dante knew all of that. Because Dante knew everything about everyone who entered his world. And that was precisely why he had given his manager a very specific instruction 3 weeks earlier. Do not put Lena Hart on my floor. His consigliere Marco had looked confused. Why? Dante hadn't answered. Because he didn't have an answer he was willing to say aloud. Lena had a habit of smiling at him. Not the frightened smile people usually gave Dante. Not the fake smile of someone hoping to earn his approval. A real smile. Warm. Careless. Almost insulting. She had once put a plate of tiramisu in front of him and said, "You look like you need sugar." Dante had stared at her. Everyone else in the restaurant had gone silent. Then she had shrugged. Or maybe therapy. That was the first time in 15 years anyone had made Dante Moretti laugh. He had hated himself for it. So he had ordered her removed from his section. And tonight, 3 weeks later, she had somehow ended up directly in front of him. Your usual, Mr. Moretti. Lena placed his whiskey on the table. Dante looked at her. Who put you on this floor? She blinked. Good evening to you too. Lena. She sighed. Mrs. Bell said we were short-staffed. I told her you weren't to serve me. I know. His eyes narrowed. And yet you're here. Yes. Why? Lena looked at the untouched whiskey, then back at him. Because I need the money. Dante's jaw tightened. You have enough money. She stared at him for 2 seconds, then laughed. You know how much I make? I know enough. Then you know I don't have enough. He leaned back. You're done for night. Her smile disappeared. Excuse me? Go home. I can't. You can. I have rent due Friday. I'll pay it. Lena's eyes widened. No. Dante's expression hardened. You don't understand. Oh, I understand perfectly. She lowered the tray. You're offering to pay my rent because you don't want me working here. Yes. That is not generosity. No. That's control. Dante went completely still. The men at the nearby table suddenly became extremely interested in their drinks. Lena continued. And I don't need another man deciding what I can and can't do. Something changed in Dante's face. For a second, the mafia boss disappeared. There was only a man who had heard a sentence he wasn't accustomed to hearing. Then he said quietly, "Go home, Lena." She picked up her tray.
No.
She turned away. Dante watched her walk toward the kitchen. Marco appeared beside him. "You want me to remove her?" Dante's eyes remained fixed on Lena.
No.
"Then what?" Dante lifted his whiskey. "I'll do it myself." He stood. But before he could take a step, the lights went out. Every chandelier in the belladonna died simultaneously. The jazz stopped. Someone screamed. Then came the sound Dante knew better than his own heartbeat. A gun being cocked. Down. Dante grabbed Lena around the waist and pulled her behind the marble bar just as the first bullets tore through the dining room. Glass exploded. Guests dropped to the floor. Security rushed toward the private entrance. Dante reached inside his jacket. His gun was already in his hand. "Marco." "I'm here." "Lock the exits." More gunfire erupted. Lena was pressed against the floor beside him, breathing hard. Dante looked at her. "Are you hurt?"
No.
"Stay down." "Dante." "Stay down." She froze. It was the first time she had heard fear beneath his command. Not fear for himself. For her. Dante rose just enough to fire toward the doorway. 2 shots. A man fell. Another attacker ducked behind a column. Then something crashed through the glass entrance. A black SUV. The vehicle smashed into the front doors and came to a stop inside the lobby. Dante's eyes narrowed. "That isn't ours." The driver's door opened. A man stepped out.
Tall.
Broad-shouldered. Dark hair. Black tactical jacket.